They thought no one would find out. No headlines, no photos, no noise. Just a quiet flight under the radar, hidden from the world. But fate had other plans. In the middle of the night, a private jet prepared for takeoff from a remote airstrip in West Africa. It wasn't listed on any commercial flight log, no flight number, no announcements, just silence. But inside the jet were 17 identical black suitcases, each one locked, heavy, and closely guarded. And in one of the passenger seats, a high-profile businessman with deep ties to foreign corporations. Everything was planned with military precision. The gold was being moved discreetly, out of the continent, far from the eyes of its rightful owners. But what no one expected was that Captain Ibrahim Traoré had been watching. For weeks, whispers had reached his ears, rumors of strange cargo movements, unexplained trips, and sudden wealth appearing in the hands of foreign investors. Traoré didn't ignore it. He investigated. A tip-off changed everything. His intelligence unit intercepted a coded message. A secret chartered flight was set to leave with precious cargo. The location? An abandoned colonial-era runway. The cargo? Classified materials. But Captain Traoré had heard that term too many times. He knew exactly what it meant. Gold. With no time to waste, he launched a swift operation. Soldiers surrounded the airstrip moments before takeoff. The jet engines were already humming. On board, panic set in. The crew tried to radio for help, but the signal was jammed. As Traoré's men approached the aircraft, they expected resistance. Instead, they found confusion and fear. Inside the cargo hold, they discovered the truth. 17 heavy suitcases, each one packed with gold bars stamped with the seal of a foreign mining company. But here's what shocked everyone. None of the gold had been declared to the state treasury. This wasn't just gold. It was stolen wealth, smuggled from the heart of Africa to the vaults of Europe. The businessman on board tried to explain. He claimed the gold was for investment purposes. He had documents, some real, most forged. But Captain Traoré wasn't buying it. This gold belongs to the people, he said, not to those who seek to steal from our soil under the mask of diplomacy. Word spread fast. Photos of the suitcases surfaced online. Social media exploded. 17 suitcases of stolen gold stopped by Captain Traoré, the headline screamed. Some accused him of fabricating the story. Others called it a heroic move against neo-colonial theft. But what couldn't be denied was this. 17 suitcases of gold were on their way out of Africa, and now they weren't going anywhere. The gold was taken to the National Reserve. Traoré ordered a full audit of all mining contracts. Corrupt officials were suspended. Foreign companies were summoned and forced to renegotiate under new terms that actually benefited the people. This incident changed everything. It became a turning point in Africa's long battle to reclaim its resources. Other leaders began asking hard questions. Who owns the land? Who profits from the minerals? And how much of what is taken ever comes back? Traoré, once seen as just a young military leader, now stood as a symbol of resistance against economic theft. He showed that guarding a nation's wealth wasn't just about military power, it was about courage, justice, and truth. And as for the gold, it was used to fund schools, hospitals, and clean water projects, things the people had been denied for decades. 17 suitcases, one plane, a silent heist that was never meant to be uncovered. But one man stood in the way. The world couldn't believe it. News outlets from Paris to New York were scrambling to get the facts. Who ordered the gold to be moved? Why was it hidden? And how did one young African leader manage to uncover it all? In the global halls of power, silence echoed louder than words. A senior official from a foreign embassy requested an urgent meeting with Captain Traoré just hours after the bust. Behind closed doors, they called it a misunderstanding. They offered negotiations, even incentives, but Traoré stood firm. No deal, he said. We are done negotiating with thieves wearing ties. Back in Burkina Faso, the people erupted in celebration. For years, they had watched their land stripped bare. Gold, manganese, uranium, ripped from the earth and loaded onto ships, never to be seen again. But this time was different. This time, one of their own had intercepted the robbery in real time. Mothers danced in the streets. Minors cried tears they hadn't shed in decades. Elders who once believed change was impossible now whispered Traoré's name with pride. Children painted murals of a man holding back a jet, gold pouring from the sky, and a flag raised high above it all. But victory came with consequences. Within days, pressure mounted. Foreign advisors were recalled. Investment projects were paused. Aid packages were frozen. Traoré was labeled dangerous, nationalist, even anti-development. But the captain didn't blink. He went on national television and looked his people in the eye. They will not scare us with sanctions. They will not break us with threats. Let them keep their so-called aid. We will eat what we grow. We will build with our own hands. And we will protect every grain of gold, every drop of oil, every inch of our land, for ourselves. Those words became a rallying cry across the continent. From Ghana to Mali, from Niger to Congo, young leaders began asking, where is our gold? Who really owns our wealth? Inspired by Traoré, whistleblowers stepped forward. Secret contracts were leaked, hidden bank accounts exposed. What began as one intercepted flight became a wave of awakenings. But behind the scenes, powerful forces were plotting. Private military companies began arriving in neighboring countries. Intelligence agencies filed secret reports calling Traoré a growing threat to Western interests. Rumors swirled of an upcoming coup, backed not by local dissent, but by offshore money in foreign hands. Traoré knew the danger. He was no fool. I don't fear death, he told his closest advisors, but I fear a future where our children are still begging for what is already theirs. He increased security. He purged the ranks of double agents. And most importantly, he doubled down on truth. The 17 suitcases were now displayed in a guarded hall in the capital. Not hidden, not sold, but visible to the people. School groups came to see them. Tourists photographed them. Journalists examined the bars and documented their origins. Each suitcase had a story. One came from a mine where villagers had protested poor conditions and were beaten for it. Another had gold smelted in Europe, then secretly flown back as foreign investment. Yet another had ties to a foreign NGO that claimed to fight poverty, but was laundering resources instead. Traoré ordered a full national database of resources, where they were, who controlled them, and who benefited. It wasn't just about gold anymore. It was about honor. Some insiders begged him to slow down. This is too much, too fast, they warned. They will come for you. But Traoré replied, they already came. They just used airplanes instead of armies. The final blow came when a major international gold trader tried to sue Burkina Faso for breach of contract over the seized gold. They claimed hundreds of millions in losses. Traoré responded with a live speech. Let this be clear, he said. You cannot lose what was never yours. We are not the ones in breach. You breached our trust, our sovereignty, and our patience. And now we are reclaiming all three. Crowds roared. Flags waved. The world watched in awe. This was more than a scandal. It was a spark, a turning point, a warning shot to every empire that thought Africa was still asleep. The message was loud and clear. The age of silent theft is over. And at the center of it all was one man, one jet, 17 suitcases of gold, and a captain who chose justice over comfort, truth over silence, and people over profit.